Hello, hello. So you have downloaded your human design chart and discovered you're a projector. That is your type. And I am going to take you through five things, five tips about being a projector. So this is not a completely inclusive guide to everything you would need to know about being a projector, but just five things to get you started. So there are five types: manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector. And the thing that I find about working with projectors is if you find and discover that you're manifestor, projector, or reflector, then actually understanding and leaning into your human design can actually have a bigger impact than those who find out they're generator or manifesting generator. Obviously, it depends how much personal development work you've done, how aligned you are already. But the majority of us are generators or manifesting generators. So the world is kind of set up, obviously, to support the majority. So finding out you're a projector can actually be quite enlightening for um, for moving forwards in maybe a different way, or it can answer a lot of questions that maybe you had. Um, so, the main thing about being a projector is how you use your energy. So, human design itself is kind of like an energy efficiency chart. It kind of shows us how to best use our energy out in the world to make life as easy as possible for us. So, everything that we're doing is using our energy correctly to be in alignment. So, as a projector, your main role is to guide others. You are here to use your energy to guide others. And all of the things that you'll see here, waiting for the invitation, your aura, managing your energy, and your not self theme, it kind of is all around this. Managing your energy and using your guidance. So you may have seen when your chart summary it says your strategy is to wait for the invitation. So that is also linked to and attached to your energy uses. So it's kind of to protect you from using your energy on the wrong things. But because of this, the aura that you have, so each of the five types obviously has a different aura. And your aura, the reason you have these insights and the way that a projector will know what it is they need to say and have these insights is because your aura literally kind of goes into the other person and picks up and absorbs what they're feeling. And so when this happens in the right way, in an aligned way, people feel really seen and understood by you. Because you can deeply connect to them, and that's how you offer those insights. But obviously, if someone's not ready for that, if someone is not expecting that, if someone is not open to that, it's not done with permission. And obviously, that is where the kind of penetrating kind of part can come in. And it can feel very spiky, and people can react to those insights and that guidance in the wrong way. So, the waiting for the invitation kind of protects you from using your energy on the wrong thing. Think about, if you were with one of your friends and maybe they've got a new partner and you can kind of see so clearly they're not a good match. And you kind of just go ahead and share how you feel, what you think, that you can see this relationship is not going to work and it's not a good match. Um, if they're not ready to receive that piece of information, it's not going to go down well. And they are going to find that information quite spiky. They might be quite, kind of taken aback. You might find, as a projector, if you start to look back on things, have there been instances where you have shared a piece of advice or your thoughts and the person has kind of almost been quite taken aback? And it's almost because even though your insights were correct or right, and it might be what they really needed to hear, the timing piece is off. So projectors, again, there's a big piece about the timing of sharing this piece of information, this insight. And so that's where the invitation comes in, because once someone's actually invited you in and asked for your advice or starts the discussion, opens the discussion about their relationship, and they actually say, oh, what do you think? They're going to receive that information in a different way. So that's kind of one side of it. Obviously, the other side, is managing your energy. So as a projector, you don't have the same level of energy to give as some of the other types. So you don't be wasting your precious energy on the wrong things. You don't want to be sharing all this guidance with people who aren't ready to receive it, and you've used up all your energy on them, and actually then someone else comes along and you've kind of used up your energy. So projectors, actually, the amount of energy you'll have as a projector does differ. There are four energy centers. So this is kind of like later on down the line, but if you wanted to kind of just have a quick look, these are the four centers that are generating energy internally. And a projector may have one or two or potentially three, but the main one you definitely don't have is this sacral, which is the main big energy battery pack for the generators and manifesting generators. So what you would want to do is kind of manage your energy, and actually rest is key to the success of a projector. So checking in how you're using your energy, taking plenty of breaks. You're not designed to work in the same way as others, which I will explain further in the little analogy that I mentioned I'm going to do. Because again, all human design types, we kind of have this not self theme to help us understand and recognize when we are not in alignment. And I always start with that out of alignment theme because it can sometimes be easier to recognize and show up. Um, so obviously, if you have spent some energy, time and energy and effort trying to help someone or give your guidance and they're just ignoring you, then they're not listening, that can create this feeling of resentment and bitterness. Um, and so that is a sign that you have shared your guidance, maybe in the wrong situation, it was the wrong time. And actually, you can start to reflect and say, okay, was there actually an invitation there? Maybe I should have waited, and it would have been better to share that insight at another time. So that's kind of a rough little starter. Like I said, it's not a complete comprehensive overview of life as a projector, but another side to it as well, actually, is this recognition piece. As a projector, really what you're doing is you're recognizing yourself and you're recognizing that you have the wisdom and the guidance to share. And you don't need to be recognized externally. Because if we recognize it internally, then you're not tempted to share without the invitation to get that external recognition, because you know that you are a guide and that your insights are amazing. So you don't need anyone else to confirm it for you. And then that also helps with the protecting, managing your energy and not sharing at the wrong time. So the wait for the invitation is a timing piece. It is a piece that is there to protect your own energy from spending it on the wrong things. And it's also sort of to protect others so that they don't feel on the receiving end of some information when they're not ready. Um, so hopefully that's given you a little insight, but you really are here to guide just in the right time and patience, and trusting that, again, when you recognize yourself, people are going to come because they'll be able to pick up on that energy, and they're going to come and they're going to ask you and they're going to say, oh, I'd really like your advice on something. What do you think? And so when you are in alignment, those invitations come to you. Like, you don't have to go looking for those invitations because people will naturally see in you this guide and they will come to you. And then that's how you know that's the right time. So I did mention I was going to do a little analogy of how the five types fit together on a project and where would a projector sit. So for my analogy, I'm going with a house building project. So um, if we were looking at that kind of situation, the manifester at the top here is likely to have kicked off the project. They are likely to have had the idea. They're going to initiate the whole thing. They're going to go out, find the land, find the financing, start together, putting the team together. Um, but the manifester, again, like the projector and the reflector, does not have this sustainable energy that is limitless. And so they will have a point in the project where they bow out of the project. And that will be different for every manifester in every project. But they are likely to start it all off and kick it off, but they're not actually designed to sustain it and see it through to the end and to finish the project. They will leave at the right time and they will probably go start another project, start another house build, and have like all these house builds on the go. And they have a team and they have everybody else that kind of is finishing the project for them. Now, the majority of people working on that project in different capacities would be a generator and a manifesting generator because they are the two that do have this defined stake called this energy resource, but as long as it is on the right project. So again, the generator and the manifesting generator, they still have their own internal system, which helps guide them to what is the right thing for them. Where are they spending their energy? And they will either say yes or no to the manifester and will work on that project. And so again, across all the different roles, they might be the builders, they might be the electrician, they might be the painter decorator, they might be the interior designer. And they will do things slightly differently. The manifesting generator might actually work on several projects at the same time. Generator might just do one build at a time and then move on to the next one. Um, and so then, where does the projector fit in? Where do you fit in? So the projector as the guide, if we think about this, you are the guide. You're likely to be the project manager. So you're likely to be coordinating everything and probably reporting back to the manifestor as to, how it's going. But you are the one who can see the bigger picture, who's looking at all the people, doing all the things and helping to guide them. And you're not necessarily doing the work yourself. So you're not actually, doing the plastering, or you might do a little bit of it depending on your energy and when you feel it's right. Again, it's with everything with human design, and what we're trying to get to is this following your authority and your strategy of when is the right time to actually get involved and when is not. But as that project manager, you're balancing your energy. You're not necessarily working and using your energy in the same way as the people actually building the house. And then we have the reflector, who are actually only 1% of the population, who have no defined centers at all. And they're going to come along at the end of the project and they're going to absorb completely and they're going to reflect back what they see, and potentially in that scenario be kind of the valuer. They're going to come along and say how much the house is worth and what is the house good or bad, and kind of do an appraisal of the house at the end. So that's kind of how everyone would sit into that project, that scenario. So you can kind of see that as a projector, how you're using your energy differently. A manifestor is using their energy to kick something off, get something started, and then they will bow out at the right time to protect their energy. The generator and the manifesting generator will be doing the majority of the kind of build, literally. But again, they will only be doing that if they've picked the right project and they've said yes to the right project. And if they've said yes to the right project, they have the energy to sustain it through to the end. As the projector, you're guiding, you're overseeing it, you're sharing your guidance and saying, oh, do you know, I think it would look better if the light went up or down, or, that kind of thing. And then the reflector comes along at the end and actually reflects back what they see. So hopefully that's given you a little starting point. Like I said, that's just a really little brief kind of thing to get you started, get you into alignment. What does it mean to be a projector? I do have a little caveat, as always, with everything human design, because the system itself here, we've got you've got your type, we've got your strategy, your authority, your profile, we've got the centers, we've got the gates, we've got the channels, we've got the planetary alignments. There is so much that goes into this energy system. And we have to learn it in a linear fashion, really. We have to go through. But actually, how it all comes together will give you a slightly different. So every projector will actually be different depending on which sensors they've got defined, which gates they've got defined, how the variables are acting. So each projector will, in essence, be different. And I always another little analogy is, you can see butter, sugar, eggs, flour, milk, etc., all lined up, and each individual item has the way it operates. And eggs are eggs, flour's flour, butter's butter, sugar's sugar, etc. But how that all then comes together and is combined in a recipe will give you a slightly different outcomes. You might get a cake, you might get Yorkshire puddings, you might get pancakes. So when you're looking at each of the individual elements, it's not giving you the final answer, the final picture, but we kind of have to do it that way because you can't just unfortunately absorb the whole thing all in one go. So I've just taken you through the very, very top layer of the projector. But then when you start to add everything else in, it will, create your own unique recipe, your own picture. So if you love that and you want to know more, I do have a free group, Your Introduction to Human Design, or you can book in a human design reading. You can jump straight in and we can go through it together and start your journey. All of the links can be found on my link tree, POC Coaching for Piece of Cake. Um, and yeah, I hope that has given you a little insight. If you want to know more, I would love it if you connected. And I look forward to supporting you on your journey as a projector.